Okay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I am Greg Russell, Superintendent of Nampa School District, and I am with
Waylon Yarborough, Deputy Superintendent, Nampa School District.
And this evening we are here at Skyview High School doing a informational night on our upcoming bond coming March 14th. It's also a basketball game tonight between Columbia and Skyview, and so if you're interested in learning about our bond or watching some really great basketball, we'd encourage you to come on down. We are here in the cafeteria, and we are sharing information about the upcoming bond. We'd like to take a few minutes to be able to just highlight some of the things on it, and then we'll show you around a little bit about what's occurring tonight.
For sure.
So the first thing I want to talk with you about the bond is just kind of the purpose. Why are we bonding? And the really reason for this is to look at the future of our schools. Our students are extremely successful in the schools that we're in right now. We have some great programs. Our Career and Technical Education Center is one of the strongest in the state. In fact, a really neat thing happened today, Waylon. You want to share a little bit about what they were doing?
We were lucky to actually pilot a program that the state is working with. We called it the Ignite program. We had 61 students going out into different businesses around town to do a job shadow for about 3 hours, really making some connections there and kids getting to see possible career options for them and possible not career options. So it was this great opportunity for kids to get out and see what's happening and giving them some options and really appreciate the business connection and the folks behind the scenes that made that work. Give a shout out real quick to Amy Bowman, one of the folks from the city, did a great job helping that up, and also our own CTE director, Cindy Arnzen, putting that together. Amazing opportunity for our kids.
Mitch Minetti at the Business Chamber was great as well. He went and talked to a lot of the businesses and allowed our kids to come in and job shadow and get a chance to see what it was like. Feedback is incredibly positive. The kids had a great opportunity to be able to ask questions, learn about careers, learn about, hey, is this career for me or is this something that doesn't work for me? But anyways, just great program there. We're here talking around our bond though, and our bond is really about that exact type of thing of how can we provide our kids with the best opportunities, the best education we have. And we spent several years looking at our buildings. We did some analysis of them. We found that some are in great condition, doing a great job. Others right now are starting to get towards the end of their lifespan. And we need to start looking about, will our current facilities provide the education that we want in the next 5, 10, or 15 years? And so that's why we're here tonight, to share some information about that. So let's maybe share a little bit about what is on the bond specifically. If you want to maybe start talking about the big one that takes about half of the bond.
For sure. One of the biggest needs in our community is the current Nampa High School campus. Nampa High School is a rich, traditional history, has a bunch of things that make that place a special place, but at the end of the day, it's the people that make it special. So within this proposed bond, we are looking at a new Nampa High School at about $100 million, which would bring it up to the same level with Columbia and Skyview, our other sister high schools. I'll talk about some upgrades for those in a minute, but it would make kind of this educational opportunity from an extracurricular perspective, an academic perspective, and just the programs we can offer to our kids. That would be a major part of the bond. Another piece would be a new career and technical education center, like we just spoke about. We would actually use one umbrella or one roof, if you will, for our CTE programs to be under one roof. We can maximize and bring better experiences for our kids and pool our resources a little bit better. We would actually do a ton of renovation here at Skyview High School. The main piece being there will be a new auditorium built, and the current auditorium will be retrofitted into a band room to support our performing arts. And there are also some deferred maintenance pieces at Skyview High School that need to be taken care of. We would be building a new elementary, Centennial Elementary, and again, this would be a replacement of an existing building. It's one of our arts-focused schools, and there's some pieces of the Centennial building that we need to change and upgrade for a variety of reasons, including educational opportunity and student safety and just age of building, and this would allow us to offer that for a lot of our kids. Then we would be taking about $11.2 million and focusing on some athletic and program upgrades across our campuses and bringing those up to par with other surrounding districts to provide our kids excellent educational and extracurricular opportunities. At Columbia High School, I actually started my teaching career at Columbia, a brand new building when I started there. But one of the things that came about, we had to sacrifice an aux gym that was originally supposed to be on Columbia High School at that point in time. This would be restoring that again to level the playing field for all of our high schools to have that type of programming for our folks. We would have some other remodels and things at West Middle School that have about $4.6 million, and there would be some capital renewal projects there. Capital renewal can include anything from doors and windows to HVAC units to electrical and plumbing, all those things that need to be upgraded. And then we would be looking at, a couple other pieces. We have some safety pieces in there at about $1.8 million, some safety and security upgrades across our campuses, some demolition costs, and then there would be some, about $3 million that would be in the Central Elementary site that would have to be poured into that building as well to get it up to par. Big piece that I want to make sure everybody understands is the reason we are looking at those buildings is what it will cost our district to maintain those facilities, as Dr. Russell spoke about, 5, 10, 15 years in the future. And we're at that spot where we really need to do some of those things and address that need. Want to put that need in front of the community and get their feedback through voting. But just want to be really, really clear what those needs are and why we're asking for that bond to be ran. So.
Yeah, and there's information on our district website. If you go to our bond page, you'll find out there's information about how we examined our buildings and looked at them and showed kind of some of the needs in there. Overall, though, all the things you talked about, $210.2 million is the bond right now, and a lot of projects that would cover. It wouldn't cover everything that we need in the district, but it covers a great deal, and it does help with our overall portfolio of our buildings. As I mentioned, some of the buildings are older than others. At some point, the money that we get to be able to put it back into our buildings only goes so far.
Correct.
Particularly with the rise of construction. An example is we have about $11.8 million of deferred maintenance every year. We get about $1.2 million from the state to be put into our schools. And in the past, you might be able to get a roof with that. You might be able to put in some new windows. Now it just pays for a roof. So that money just doesn't go as far as it used to. So that deferred maintenance begins to multiply and add up over the years as we go on. One of the questions we get often is the difference between a bond and a levy. And sometimes we get asked, well, didn't we just pass a bond last year, or didn't we just pass a levy last year? Do you want to talk to us a little bit about bond versus levies?
Sure. The big piece that we want the community to understand is we have not bonded in the Nampa School District since 2007. So it's been 16 years since we have bonded for capital projects. The difference between the bond and the levy, where that confusion comes in, is that in the state of Idaho, school districts do have to ask their local communities to help support through a supplemental levy, is one of the things we do in our district, and that helps pay for things like teaching salaries, technology, some curriculum and things that we use. And we have been in a cycle, we run that about every 2 years for about the last 10 to 12 years, we ran that supplemental levy. And then on the bond side, it's those big capital renewal projects. The metaphor that I like to use to help people understand that is if I buy a new car, that's my bond, that's my capital. I got to buy that big purchase, but then my levy helps take care of all the maintenance, the gasoline, the wiper blades, the battery that wears out over time that I have to keep using to keep the vehicle up to par and functioning. So again, that bond versus levy conversation, we want to be really transparent with our public that supplemental levies aren't likely to go away, because the bond funds cannot be used for those things. They can only be used for capital projects, and that has to do with some structures within Idaho law and how we fund schools within our state. So,
just one other thing that's helpful as well is supplemental levies have a simple majority to pass that, and a bond has a super majority to pass, so it is a little bit higher of a bar, and it's helpful for our folks to know that. That's why we want to encourage folks to get out and vote on March 14th.
Correct.
So one of the key questions we often get is, well, how much is this going to cost? And so we're going to bring up a screen here that shares a little bit about the cost. There is a calculator on our website, and we do have some information on our page, but the $210.2 million is going to cost, it'll depend when we pay off our old bonds. So currently right now the bonds on the books that we have are $60 per 100,000 of taxable value. When those are paid off, and they're about to be paid off in 2 years, we will bring on a new bond that would be $85 per 100,000 of taxable value. That is an increase of $25 per 100,000. So you think about the average home in Nampa. When we talked to the assessor, they said it was around $420,000, $430,000. When you take away the homeowner's exemption, that puts you around $300,000. If you were to put that number in our calculator there on our website, you would see that breaks it out to about $6.20 a month, $6.50 a month. And that was helpful for folks as we shared that with them, because they want to know, how much is this going to impact my monthly budget? I mean, that's really important. So we'd encourage people to go to that website, look at your assessed value, you can plug that in and get some information there.
And also, Dr. Russell, one thing we really want our community to understand, we have a unique moment in time where with those old bonds maturing and coming off, we can keep that tax burden relatively level for our community. Our community has been extremely supportive of education. We're very, very happy and proud of that. And again, this unique time frame for Nampa School District, and also the uniqueness of our bond in working to working to create better educational opportunities for our kids, and not because of growing in the district, if you will, or growing as far as needing schools. This is truly taking care of the kids and programs that we have and we anticipate having in the future. And so it's a unique time for Nampa School District comparing to other bonds, and we'd love to answer those questions. If you have time to swing down for a little bit tonight, we can help answer those questions for you.
Yeah, so we'll be here till 7:30 tonight. You can also ask questions in our form here. We have an ability, I think, for you to type in some questions and put them in here. We'd be happy to answer those if you have them. But for now, I think what we'll do is just going to give you a little bit of a tour around what we got going on here. So we'll go ahead and walk maybe this way a little bit and share. So
I'm going to bail out and go to my station.
We got several stations kind of set around the cafeteria here. We got information around the cost for the bond, what are some of the student outcomes, what are some of the needs. We have our Canyon County assessor is here, and we'll just give you kind of a real quick tour, walk you around, get an opportunity. These folks are sitting down and learning about the economic impact. Got some more folks over here. We also have our career and technical education culinary students have created some snacks. So if you just want a really quick snack, stop on by. They're kind of at that far table. But just give you an opportunity here to come ask questions, learn a little bit more about our bond. And as I mentioned, we'll be here till about 7:30. So for now, we'll take a little break. We'll come back and see if there's any more questions, and we'll be able to answer those. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are here again in the Skyview cafeteria holding a community night sharing information about our upcoming bond election, which is on March 14th, and I'm sitting here with...
I'm Courtney Stoffer. I am the Director of Operations for the school district.
Courtney's joined me real quick as we talk a little bit more about our bond. One of the key things that I'd like to cover with you is kind of the purpose of the bond. You know, why are we doing a bond now? The first one has to do with educational outcomes. This is what's really important about our bond is we want to make sure that the outcomes for all of our students are the best possible outcomes they can. And what I mean by that is having the best education possible. As we think about the future for our students in the next 5, 10, 15 years, will our students be able to continue having a top level education, and will our buildings be able to provide that and provide the programs that we want? The other thing we're looking at is this thing called balance of utilization, meaning wherever you live in the city, do you have the same access to educational programs? Does the building that you go to school have the same quality of educational programs? And as we look at it, some of our buildings do a great job of that. Other buildings are starting to age. And that's another one of the reasons why we're looking at a bond is our facilities are starting to age. The average building in our district is 42 years old. And the maintenance that we need to upkeep those, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute with Mr. Stoffer here, is our dollar doesn't go quite as far as it used to, and those maintenance needs do compound over the years. And so we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. The last one is we really want to make sure that we continue to have strong programs when it comes to our extracurriculars, when we think about our athletics, our fine arts, also our early childhood education, and our special education. Just want to make sure we have some programs that can fit all the students and the best needs that we have. So we just mentioned Mr. Stoffer just a second ago about our facilities are aging.
Right.
We have some needs, some newer buildings, some older buildings. Talk to us a little bit, if you would, about how do we determine what building needs maybe replacement or what building needs upgrades?
Absolutely, we can do that. So I think a little bit of historical context. So about 4 years ago, we started a process to analyze all of our buildings, find out what type of condition each one of them were in, and what the status was of all of the subcategories, the plumbing, the windows, the doors, electrical, HVAC, all of those things that come in and contribute to the learning environment for students. So in doing that process, we brought in some outside third-party companies that helped us do that. That's what their job is they go and do analyze buildings and help us to determine what things we should focus on. So over 4 years, we were able to work on that, and we brought that work together and created a facilities master plan, which has detailed information about each one of our buildings and the current status of each one of those buildings. Not only did it include just the components, it also talked about the educational adequacy for each one of the buildings and the classrooms in our portfolio. So with all that wonderful report's about 45 pages long, and you can find that full report on our website, and it's accessible for everybody to look through. But really one of the telltales of that is it helped us understand this idea called FCI, which is the Facility Condition Index. It is a percentage or a number that is given to buildings that help determine or help you give an idea of where they stand as far as area of need. The FCI was created by the Navy in the early 1980s. During that time, they were looking at a system of how to decommission their fleets. And what happened with that is it was so productive that it continued throughout the rest of the military and ended up into facilities. They adapted that same type of principle, and so it's a traditional principle that's been used since about the 1990s. So with the FCI, what we look at is the cost of replacing current infrastructures over the cost of building it new or completely revitalizing that. And that percentage starts to give you an indicator of the health of your building. And each one of our buildings was given an identifier through the FCI, which kind of helped us start to do that leveling process as we looked at the condition of the building, the educational adequacy, and our student enrollments in those schools. So we used those three pillars to kind of build the plan that ultimately we presented to our school board in, I believe it was July and August.
And again, you can go on our district website. You could find out those FCIs if you're curious what kind of condition your current school is, or the school that you're at, or the school that you live by, or the school that you used to go to.
Right.
You can go ahead and click on that, and you'll find that information on our district website with it. So FCI, again, is an industry standard that we use to kind of determine the replacement cost versus kind of the build new. I think the rule is typically around 2/3.
The percentage number is about 10%. When you start to get above 10%, then you're starting to see some major needs in your building. It really gets to that critical component about 25%. When the FCI gets to that 25% number, that's is really where you're going to start seeing some major malfunctions in some of your main infrastructure.
So that was one of the primary considerations when we talked about replacing high school, or replacing the Nampa High School, building a new Centennial Elementary, and making some of the capital renewal projects that we have around some of our older buildings like Central, West, and here at Skyview, trying to upgrade our band room and our theater. So again, we are here at the Skyview cafeteria. There's a basketball game tonight, by the way.
There is. Columbia versus Skyview. Come on down.
Yeah, it's a big basketball game. If you'd like to check that out, or just come learn a little bit, some more information. We also have some snacks here from our career and technical education folks. They did a great job of providing some snacks for the community.
It is pretty
here.
tasty, I'll be honest. I may have had a little bit.
Anyhow, if you have questions, please add them in the chat. We will take a break, but we'll come back and answer any questions you have. So please go ahead and put those in, and we'll be back in just a minute. Hey, good evening, everyone. We are here live at Skyview High School. I'm holding a community night here, sharing some information about the upcoming bond that we have on March 14th. We'll be here till 7:30, and would encourage you to come on down. I'm sitting here with Courtney Stauffer, our Director of Operations, looking at some questions that are trying to come in. I think there was a comment around moving Nampa High School and some concerns about moving it from the center of Nampa, kind of the out part of town.
Sure.
You want to share a little bit about that, Courtney?
Yeah, I'd love to. So one of the misconceptions about the Nampa School District is that we're growing in student population and we're bursting at the seams. That's actually our sister district, which is Valley View. They are definitely having that growth issue. Our district, we have maintained the same student population for about the last 3 to 4 years. So our need is based off of the facility's condition, not necessarily the need of growth to expand to have more or a larger profile of high schools and a profile of middle and elementary schools. We are looking at just those buildings that are at that time of their lifespan, maybe coming to an end. So part of it, looking at Nampa High in particular, is one of the things that creates a disbalance at Nampa High is that we are not able to house all of our sports programs and some of our other programs on the site because of its size. So for years we've had to utilize other facilities to have equity in our sports programs. So one of the things with the new site is it would afford us that opportunity to have everything on the site. I'm a Nampa High graduate. I'm a Nampa High dad. My sons and daughters have gone to Nampa High. I have one there right now, and being a 15-year-old, he plays on the baseball team. Traveling to and from his sports is a problem for, I'm at work, and if mom's working, we have to try to find some rides. So that's one of the examples of why that we're looking at a different site. So we can bring all those things back to a new site.
Yeah, one of the things we want to make sure is that the students, wherever you live, you have the same kind of educational opportunity. And there are some spaces in Nampa High School that they're tiny classrooms, they're small. I think you were a science teacher at one point, and looking at some of our science rooms, which kind of reminds me, coming up on next week, the 23rd, we are actually doing a tour over at Nampa High School. Do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the tour that's coming up?
I think it would be great. So we invite you to come on out. We have a link right here on the screen that you can sign up to come on out and take a look at Nampa High. We'll take you through the buildings and show you what is going on at the school, and you can look at the facility. After that, we'll actually have Centennial. We'll add Centennial to that, so we'll take you to both of those schools since they're a focal point of this bond. We want you to kind of take a look at them so you can kind of get your eyes on and see what's going on in those buildings. And at the same time, you get to see kids learning.
Yeah, it'd be a great opportunity to be able to walk through and get an opportunity to just kind of look at where the schools are at, learn a little history about them, learn about some of the programs they have within them, and then also be able to see some of the needs that they got within too. So I think there is an RSVP link on there. You can go ahead and sign up if you're interested. And if it gets filled up, we also could add a couple more tours maybe at some later dates as well. So if you know of anybody that's interested in taking a tour, please share that with them. We'd love to have some folks come out. Again, we are here live at Skyview High School doing a community night for our bond election that's coming up on March 14th. We got various booths you can kind of see around here with some information. There's also a basketball game coming here tonight starting at 7:30, Columbia versus Skyview.
Yeah, I think the kickoff for the JV just happened.
I think JV just started. I think it's senior night for Skyview as well. So we'd love to see you down here. Also taking in some questions. If you have a specific question, please put that in the chat here, and we'll be back to answer that. I think we'll take a real quick break.
try not to clear my throat too much.
Hey, good evening, everyone. We're back here at Skyview's cafeteria. We are holding our community event to share information about our upcoming bond. I have a good friend of mine is here, Dr. George Zickefoos, who is principal at Centennial Elementary. And Centennial is one of the schools that is up to be replaced in our upcoming bond. So, Dr. Zickefoos, if you would just maybe share with us a little bit about what, Centennial, what makes it a special place and what makes it unique.
Yeah, well, Centennial is an arts-focused, arts-integrated focus school, and we're hoping to kind of infuse arts in all kinds of places in our classes, regular curriculum, but we're trying to, we have about 4 strands we're looking at. Dramatic arts, the visual arts, the musical arts, and the movement arts, and how do we have those intersect with our regular curriculum is really what we're about. And we have a facility that wasn't designed almost 50 years ago for that, and so we're looking at how we can think a little bit broader and more purposed for a program sense. What would a new, say, elementary school, Centennial, look like if it had an arts concept at the genesis of the building? So we're hopeful.
Yeah, it's a really incredible thing to see. Talk about the engagement of the kids. I mean, they just love to be able to create and share what they have learned and tie that into some of the creations that they've made. I think you guys have an event coming up, because I believe you guys on the 24th, is that?
That's
Tell us
right.
a
We
little
have
bit about
a showcase, our second showcase is coming up on the 24th from 5 to 7. We're going to have some food trucks. We're inviting the parents, the community to come in and see what our students have been doing. And they've been doing some pretty cool things. You're going to see a wax museum, our 5th graders standing and introducing an famous American that they've done some research on and prepared a speech for. You're going to see all kinds of art that connects either math or writing, or it might be clay, it might be some type of mosaic, self-portrait. I mean, you'll see some fun things and hear from some students that are actually prepared to engage with you.
Yeah, so it's a great community event. Again, you'll be able to see the kids and some of the things that they had created. And this also reminds me, George, we got some tours coming up on some schools coming on the 23rd. So the day before that, we are doing some school tours. We're doing a tour of Nampa High School. The tours start at 10 a.m. or 10:30 at 1 p.m. And we're going to be touring Nampa High, and then we'll be stopping over at George's school and getting an opportunity to look at that. So if you can make it the 23rd, that would be great. If not, you can make it the 24th and see the student showcase with some of their arts integrated work there. So
our choir is going to sing that night too, so it'll be a fun time just to embrace the arts.
Yeah, and what time does that start again on the 24th?
5 to 7 on the 24th.
5 to 7 on the 24th, Centennial Elementary. Their arts focus night. We encourage you to take a chance and look at that too. Well, George, thanks for chatting with us a little bit, and we'll again take some specific questions. If you have any, please put those in the chat, and we'll be back.
All right.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back here at Skyview High School, holding a community event for our upcoming bond election coming up on March 14th. I have a guest with me here, and this is Cindy Arnson. She is our director of our Career and Technical Education School. And so, Cindy, one of the things that we try to do is make sure kids have great experiences and connect them to some real life skills and trying to build those. Talk to us a little bit about how does the school district kind of connect with some of the businesses and industries out in the community?
Okay, so all of our pathways have to have a technical advisory board, and so that is where we have industry people that are part of our board, and we meet twice a year, and that is where they come in and tell us what type of industry standards that we should be teaching. They also come in and tell us what type of equipment that we should be buying throughout the year to help prepare our kids for the workforce. So we have that. We also have a lot of our kids this year are doing internships. So instead of going and having an open period, they are going out into the place of business and working during that open period, and they're actually getting paid pretty well.
And again, trying to make sure that we can connect their education to what's something that's going to actually help them and benefit them as they get older. I remember when I was in high school, sometimes the things I was exposed to was more just kind of like maybe it could be a hobby or something. I think the difference with our Career Technical Education Center is we really want these kids to have the skills to go in the job market and get hired.
No, I agree.
And so talk to us a little bit about that, the capstone program, how many of those students kind of graduate and move into their careers?
So we had about 300 to 400 kids last year in capstone classes, and a lot of them go into their career. I know we have a really popular CNA program, and they actually become CNA, but a lot of them do it as an entry point to become a nurse, and they're using that CNA license to help pay for their college.
Yeah.
And so most of our kids, EMT certifications, we have welding certifications, so they're getting a lot of those certifications in our classes that they can then use to help them get a job and get some pay increases as they go along, because a lot of those industry people are looking for those certifications.
Great programs. Reminds me, on the 23rd, we're doing a tour of some of the facilities we have in the district. We're touring Napa High School, we're touring Centennial Elementary. We got some great programs that you could see over at Napa High. We have auto mech over there, cosmetology, law enforcement, and just some classes that we could pop in, so if you're interested in seeing that. Something really cool happened today, though.
Yes, it
One of the
did.
things we're trying to do is connect folks, our young students, with businesses in the community. So talk to us a little bit about this Ignite project. What happened today?
So what we did is we opened it up to all of our CTE students, 10th grade through 12th grade, and so they filled out a form. And so we had about 450 kids that wanted to do job shadowing. And then what we did is we did a lottery system. So we made it equal all across the board, and we picked 60 of our students that went out and job shadowed 12 different businesses today. So they spent about 3 hours out there. And so a lot of them, we have one group that got to work on auto mechanics, and they actually got to work on a fire truck. Because it was with the city of Nampa, and I didn't realize that they repair all the fire trucks and the ambulances. So they got to do that. We had another group that went out to cosmetology. What else did we do? We had, great. The kids were so excited when they came back that it just made my day.
Yeah, it was great. Some of the things that they experienced, and even surprised some of our industry and our business partners, some of the skills that they had already learned. Mm-hmm. They were really surprised that our kids in high school were getting some of those skills and had those abilities. Just really big a shout out to our community. We had support from our mayor. Mayor Kling was there. Mitch Minetti from the Business Chamber was there as well. Just really appreciate our business partners in our community that allow our students to come in and shadow, and all the folks that share their information, share their careers with our kids, really bringing up the next generation for our community. We are again here at Skyview High School sharing information about our bond. Our bond election is coming up on March 14th. We'd love to have you come learn a little bit more. If you have questions, please put those in our chat here, and we'll be back in a few minutes to try to answer any of those that come up. Giving us a little bit into CTE.
And if any of you guys ever want to come see any of our programs, just let me know, and we will gladly take you through our programs. We have some great programs that we would love to showcase.
Everybody who's seen the CTE programs leaves amazed, so I'd really encourage you to take her up on that. If you'd like to tour our programs, please let us know. It's really impressive.
Thank you, Greg.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We are here live again at the Skyview High School for our community night where we're talking about our upcoming bond election coming up on March 14th. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Will Barber. He's principal here at Skyview. Will, how many years have you been principal here?
I've been principal for 7 years now.
For seven?
This is my 7th year.
Okay, 7 years.
Yep.
Skyview is an excellent school. A lot of success we have here, both academically, extracurricular. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you love about Skyview High School.
I think there's a lot of things, Nampa School District and Skyview specifically. It's family atmosphere. I think kids are welcome. It's an opportunity for kids to obtain a lot of experiences. We have a lot of CTE programs that provide that support and avenues for kids to pursue things after high school. We have a lot of concurrent credit classes where kids get a lot of college credit opportunities, and that's district-wide.
Yeah.
And Skyview specifically, but all of our comprehensive high schools allow for that. So a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, extracurricular as well. I think the dance team just placed won several spaces in the division?
Yeah, our dance team did well at the state tournament. We placed fourth at state tournament. Girls and boys basketball are finishing up. Our wrestling program is competing in district tournament right now. So a lot of good things going on. A lot of events and activities going on right now.
Spring sports will be starting fairly soon as well. One of the things that's really interesting about Skyview is when I walk into Skyview, I always think, hey, Skyview is one of our newest schools in the district. But really, it's actually starting to get up there. How old is Skyview?
This is our 26th year, I believe. 96, 97 was the first year that it opened. And just like you said, it seems like it's fairly new, but it's been around for a while, and it's starting to show its wear and tear, as all schools do as they get older.
Yeah. Time goes by fast. Hard to believe 26 years ago that we opened Skyview High School. Just real quickly as well, as we talk around our bond that's coming up, a couple of renovations that we're talking about here at Skyview. One is looking at building a new theater for the school and renovating the band room. Just maybe share a little bit about how that would benefit the kids.
It's exciting. Our band program over the last 5 years has expanded to where their current practice room, they can't fit in that practice room. And so creating a practice room opportunity with the current auditorium and then building a new auditorium to meet the needs of our drama program, meeting room, community can use it for so many different things. So an upgrade in that area is going to be big for our campus and our kids for the future of Skyview.
Also talk about upgrading some of the athletic complexes here, trying to get a new weight room put in for some of the athletes that perform here. Also looking at trying to get some turf for some of the playing fields and just bring that up so that our kids can compete with some of the surrounding districts and have the best opportunity possible. Will, really appreciate the work you do here, really appreciate the work you do for our kids. Again, we're here till 7:30 tonight talking around our school bond. Election coming up on March 14th. We really encourage you to get out some information and get out and vote. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Greg.
Good evening, everyone. Wrapping up here tonight at Skyview's cafeteria. I think we have the basketball games going to be starting pretty soon, and so we might go and catch some of that action.
Got to see some good Wildcat and Skyview Hawk.
Yeah, big rivalry going on tonight. Just want to remind you about the website we have. You want to just share some information, Courtney, about something that folks can find about the bond on there?
So if you want to go to our website, right on the front page, we have 2 places where you can find a link to all the bond information that we have there for you. There's also a page called the FAQ page, and at the bottom of the FAQ page, there is a place to submit any other questions that you may have. Please feel free to reach out and communicate through that venue with any other questions you may have as well.
And just one real quick reminder, next week on the 23rd, we're doing some tours in our schools. We're going to be touring Nampa High School and Centennial Elementary, taking place at 10:30 and 1 p.m. in the afternoon. There's an RSVP link that we'd encourage you to go to and sign up there. I think that'll be some good information and a chance to actually see the physical buildings and actually learn a little bit about what the kids are experiencing and some of the programs that they get to have, and you'll see some kids learning. Should be a great opportunity. Really want to thank you tonight for tuning in. I really encourage you to get some information. I encourage you to vote on the 14th, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Have a great night.